In 2008, the Journal of Behavioral Medicine published a study conducted by the University of Tennessee. It found that the physiological act of holding a grudge increases cortisol levels by 28% and heart rate by 15 beats per minute during recall. Biologically speaking, unforgiveness is a state of chronic stress. It is expensive to the human machine. Yet, we often view forgiveness as a soft skill, a moral luxury, or a sign of weakness. We associate it with passivity. However, when we analyze high-stakes partnerships, historical treaties, and long-term organizational survival, the data suggests the opposite. Forgiveness is not an emotion. It is a calculated asset management strategy. There is no stranger case study for this economic principle than the marriage of John Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne. To the public, they are reality TV caricatures. To the forensic accountant and the behavioral psychologist, they represent a statistical anomaly. Over 4 decades, this partnership survived theft, infidelity, and arguably the most extreme deal-breaker in any contract, attempted murder. By dissecting the events of September 2, 1989, we can prove that forgiveness is the primary variable that separates long-term solvency from bankruptcy. To understand the baseline, we must look at the asset status in August 1989. Ozzy Osbourne had just performed at the Moscow Music Peace Festival. Financially, the entity Ozzy Osbourne was generating millions in gross revenue, yet the human operator was in systemic failure. In his 2011 autobiography, I Am Ozzy, Osbourne documents his intake during this specific week: 4 bottles of vodka a day, combined with undisclosed amounts of cocaine. He describes his mental state not as angry, but a complete dissociation from reality. He wrote, quote, "I didn't know who I was, where I was, or what I was doing. I was just a vessel for the drugs." The location of the incident was Bulstrode Park, a Grade 2 listed mansion in Buckinghamshire. Sharon Osbourne, then managing Ozzy's career and raising their 3 children, Amy, Kelly, and Jack, was the acting CEO of the family enterprise. At this juncture, Sharon was not merely a spouse, she was the safeguard. According to a 2005 interview with The Guardian, she had already successfully sued her own father, Don Arden, a notorious music mogul, to secure Ozzy's contract. She had secured the capital, but on the night of September 2, 1989, the liability threatened to liquidate the asset entirely. The timeline of events is verified by Thames Valley police reports and subsequent court testimonies. It is shortly after 10 p.m. Ozzy Osbourne enters the bedroom. According to Sharon's testimony in the documentary The 9 Lives of Ozzy Osbourne, there was no preamble, no argument, no elevated heart rate. Ozzy sat on the edge of the bed. His pulse, metaphorically, was flat. He looked at her and stated, quote, "We've come to a decision that you've got to go." Note the plural pronoun, we. Psychologists identify this as a symptom of psychosis, the separation of the self from the action. Ozzy then lunged. He began to strangle Sharon. Sharon located a panic button installed on the nightstand, a security measure put in place due to previous break-ins. She pressed it. The police response time was rapid. When the police arrived, Ozzy was not violent, he was disoriented. When he awoke in the holding cell at the Amersham police station the next morning, he asked the officer, quote, "Why am I here?" The officer replied, "You're here for the attempted murder of your wife." The legal reality was stark. Ozzy was facing a lengthy prison sentence. The charge was attempted murder. However, the outcome was not decided by a jury. It was decided by the victim. Sharon Osbourne did not press for the maximum sentence. Instead, she leveraged the legal system to enforce a rehabilitation mandate. The court ordered Ozzy to spend 3 months in a secure mental health facility, followed by extensive rehabilitation. He was essentially placed in a conservatorship of his own making. The divorce option was on the table. The assets could have been split. The career ended. Instead, Sharon waited. Why? Conventional wisdom calls this toxic. Romanticism calls it love. But if we apply the investment model of commitment processes developed by psychologist Carol Rusbolt in 1980, we see a different picture. Rusbolt's model suggests that commitment is based on three factors: satisfaction, quality of alternatives, and investment size. Sharon's investment size, not just emotional, but the literal decades of building the Ozzy brand, the children, and the intellectual property, was massive. But there is a deeper psychological mechanism at play here, the decisional forgiveness model. Dr. Everett Worthington, a pioneer in forgiveness research, distinguishes between emotional forgiveness, replacing negative emotions with positive ones, and decisional forgiveness, a behavioral intention to resist an unforgiving stance. In 1989, Sharon likely did not feel forgiveness, she decided it. In a 2002 interview with Barbara Walters, Sharon stated, quote, "I knew he wasn't him. I knew that wasn't the man I loved." This aligns with attributional retraining. She separated the person from the pathology. By choosing decisional forgiveness, she preserved the asset. 3 years after the attempted murder, in 1991, Ozzy released No More Tears. It became one of his best-selling albums, reaching quadruple platinum status. Had she liquidated the partnership in 1989, the Ozzy brand would likely have dissolved into obscurity or death. By exercising forgiveness, she compounded the interest on her investment. This decision directly led to the Ozzfest tours, grossing $146 million, and the Osbournes reality show, which created a new revenue stream for the entire family. To verify that forgiveness was the variable responsible for this success, we must examine a control group that lacked it. Consider the band Oasis, led by the brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher. Like the Osbournes, the Gallaghers possessed a massive income-generating brand. However, their conflict resolution strategy was non-existent. On August 28, 2009, backstage at the Rock on Seine festival in Paris, a physical altercation occurred involving a plum thrown against a wall and a wielded guitar. Noel Gallagher released a statement that night: "I simply could not go on working with Liam a day longer." There was no pause, no rehabilitation mandate, no decisional forgiveness. The partnership dissolved immediately. Financial analysts estimated that the 15-year feud cost the brothers upwards of £400 million in potential touring revenue during their prime years. While the Osbournes utilized the attempted murder incident as a catalyst for sobriety and restructuring, the Gallaghers allowed a backstage argument to liquidate their primary asset. The lack of forgiveness was literally a multi-million-dollar expense. So, what is the logical conclusion? The Osbourne case study proves that forgiveness is not about being a doormat. It is about accurate risk assessment. Sharon Osbourne did not forgive behavior. She forced the behavior to change: rehab, medication, therapy, and forgave the person. When you face a betrayal, whether in a business partnership, a marriage, or a family unit, the data suggests you should ask 3 questions before severing ties. 1. Is the offense a state or a trait? Was this a temporary breakdown, like Ozzy's drug psychosis, or a permanent character flaw? 2. What is the sunk cost versus future value? Does destroying the relationship cost more than the emotional labor of repairing it? 3. Can decisional forgiveness precede emotional forgiveness? Can you sign the treaty before you like the enemy? The cancel culture instinct is to delete the error immediately, but forensic history shows that the most resilient systems, from post-war economies to rock and roll marriages, are those that integrate the failure rather than deleting it. In 2023, Ozzy and Sharon celebrated their 42nd wedding anniversary. Ozzy is currently battling Parkinson's. Sharon is his primary caregiver. The investment made in that police station in 1989 has yielded a return that cannot be quantified on a balance sheet: companionship at the end of life. Forgiveness is the most difficult logic to apply because it feels counterintuitive to survival. It requires absorbing a blow. But as the Osbourne portfolio demonstrates, the ability to absorb the blow and rebuild the infrastructure is the only way to ensure the legacy survives the timeline.